Let's start right away by creating a little collage on the first page of this journal. I already selected a couple of materials for this collage. Here you can see I have the frame from the Sizzix and Tim Holtz Chapter 3 release, the Specimen one. And I also have some layers and snippets, and mostly in the Postal theme. As soon as I have the layout for the collage that I desire, I am going to do repetitive things, and that is to roughen up the edges of all my ephemera. I am using the Tim Holtz paper distresser for that, sometimes adding a little stroke of ripped paper just to give it an extra layer. And after that it is time to ink it all up with a brown ink. Before I glue down the collage in total, I'm going to take a good look at all my pieces of ephemera and also the background. And I'm going to see if there are any white spots there, because they can be filled, and I am doing that with the Remnant rubs Eccentric. Besides the Remnant rubs, you can also use your correspondence stamp sets from Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. It's also a great way to fill up those spaces that are a little bit more white. I die cut these numbers out of just white plain paper, and I am going to use them as a background on the blue specimen frame that we cut earlier. I am adding the numbers on the bottom of the frame because I think only the blue frame in this collage is a bit predominant. I do not like that. I want to part that, and that is what I'm doing with this extra layer. And now it is time to glue down the collage in total. And as you can see, I have my cell phone next to me because I took a picture of the best possible layout that I like. And I really want to be sure that I am going to glue it down in the right order. Because the blue of the specimen frame is quite present, and I am working in a postal theme with blue and red, I'm going to add a little pop of red again, and I'm going to do that with this star. Now on to the next page. It is this beige colored page that I already cut out a window with one of the dies. And I'm going to look at the background again and fill up some clear areas. And I am using the postal tape and some remnant rubs for that. The main color of this page is beige. You could think that's a bit boring, so that is the reason why I'm also adding some colors. And I did that with the red strip of torn paper, and I also stitched along the sides and stitched along some little pieces of ephemera. When I am stitching my pages or my paper ephemera, I always make sure that I leave on the long pieces of thread. Tim Holtz has enough paper in his paper pads with a matching theme for this. So I found a piece of paper and I liked this word or this sentence, airmail information. And that is the reason why I ripped it apart. And I'm going to use it in this little collage. When you take a good look at the background, you can mostly see the blue color, and I tried to part that by adding a little bit of brown tape, but also by adding now a piece of red paper on the bottom of this sentence. While working on a page with a window, you always have to keep in mind that you have to think about the front that you are working on, but also on the back because that's also visible. That means that when you glue down some ephemera in front view, that looks nice, but keep in mind the back could be white. So maybe you want that decorated too to give it a matching look. Let's create another collage on this pocket, and I am using the label die set that just came out in chapter 3. I really love working with labels. They are very versatile. You can use them as labels as is, but you can decorate them. You can cut them out of plain paper, but also decorated paper. So the possibilities are endless. Right now I'm going to fill up the background with some remnant rubs, the eccentric ones, and that is just to fill up some gaps in my collage. Why I am doing that, you might ask, but I think the background color is quite pale. There's not a lot going on over there, so I'm going to make it more interesting with some rubs, maybe some stamps, some little ephemera and a little bit of tape. And what do you think of this prize ribbon? I think it is adorable and I really love to use it. Now over to something different. To make your pages stand out, we are creating little clusters. For these clusters I am using different kind of layers. One of the layers could be a rectangle that you already cut out of a page that is a window right now. And the other thing is that you can cut a rectangle, but then a smaller one, out of plain blue or red cardstock. Then you can add an extra layer by putting on a piece of ephemera or a prize ribbon that you cut out, or maybe a stamped image. In the background and on the little pieces of tape that is throughout the whole journal, I am doing the same thing over and over, and that is adding the remnant rubs. To add something extra, you could think about the postal tape, but also the die-cut numbers or letters. As you can see, I even stitched the smaller pieces of paper ephemera, and that is just to give it an all-over matching look with the rest of the journal. After stacking and stitching up these pieces of paper, I am looking for more possibilities to embellish this piece, and you can think about an eyelet with string, or maybe a brad, a tiny attacher, or an index clip. It's all in the details, so I am going to add a little bit more, and I'm going back in with a number and also a cute little red arrow just to top it all off. Let's create another cluster. You can see I have the bigger piece of paper for the bottom and a smaller medium-sized piece of paper on top, and that will be a cute little pocket which you can slide in a paper from the left side, and to top it off there is a stamp on top. Of course, do not forget your stitching along the sides of the two pieces of paper before gluing them down. And you can see this piece of paper is only glued on the top, the right side and the bottom because we want it to be a slide-in pocket on the left side. Another tip on creating these little clusters is not to just only glue your paper in the shape of the rectangle, but it's also very playful to just glue it a little bit over the edge of the rectangle. To fill up this cute little slide-in pocket, there are enough possibilities in the Tim Holtz Ephemera pack or maybe in a Snippets pack. Even the smallest piece of detail will add up to the project. So this is just a tiny label with a little rub-on on top that will go onto the prize ribbon. And this is what the clusters look like up close, but I can still see I need a little detail on one of them, and I'm going to repeat the step that I already did before on other pages. I am adding a little star. You might want to know what to do or how to use these clusters on your journal pages, so I would advise you to stay tuned because another video is coming up where I will explain and show you how to use them. Like my content? Then please like, subscribe or comment down below or even become a patron of mine.